What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back after the 1-1 draw as Spurs, drew with Frankfurt on the night. Really frustrating 1-1 draw in the first leg of the Europa League. Missed chances at second half, really costing us. I'm here with Danny Kiriakou. Danny, we went behind 5 minutes in through that goal from Ekitike, and you're fearing the worst. Great goal, but hugely frustrating to go behind so early on, and giving him all the space in the world and from 25 yards. But you got to say it's a great strike, don't you? To be fair to him, 25 yards out, drilled into the corner. But I thought we responded well. I think to going behind, getting the equaliser, really good team goal, capped off by Pedro Porro. With a backheel finish, really nice team goal. And then I think from then on, Tottenham were probably the better team. I think second half, tale of missed chances, hitting the post twice. On the day, the goalkeeper, Cal Santos, made 5 saves at the end of the game, some really notable ones from Son and from Van de Ven right at the end. Yeah. But what's your takeaway from this game? It's just hugely frustrating that we played quite well, I thought. Probably should be going into the second leg with a lead, but unfortunately we're not.
I just think it's a story of our last 18 months, to be honest. I think there's been a lot of games where we played well being the better team, but we just haven't got over the line. And I think that's because we don't have enough match winners in that team. Like the chances that we saw today that could have won the game, again, they weren't really like proper clear-cut chances. They were kind of like half chances in a way. I think the best chance was probably Bergval's one. With that shot, I think that was the best chance because the space opened up for him and he used his brain to actually go, do you know what, I'm going to have a crack.
Well, Van de Ven had an unbelievable chance.
Van de Ven had a chance, but again, if you look at the chance, he mishit it. He didn't really hit it. It kind of...
I'm saying that's a clear goal opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, but he didn't hit the ball. That's what I'm saying. It kind of just... He didn't connect with it well. If he connected with that, that's going in. Mm-hmm. He didn't connect with it. And that's why it was awkward and the keeper had to make a save to tip it over. But... if he had actually connected properly with that probably is going in. But what I'm saying is the best chance I saw was probably Bergval's one because he was from far out, space opened up, and he went for a shot, and it was nearly an unbelievable goal. I just think it's frustrating because when you watch how some of our games have unfolded this season, there's been so many of these games where we've had dominated the ball, we've had more chances than the opposition, we probably played better than them, but again, we come away with it thinking, how did we not win that game? And that's the problem. That it's too that kind of let's just say the way we're playing and the kind of result and the outcome that happens, that's too consistent. We get that too many times. And that's the problem. Because if we had, like, for example, you were going crazy at Brennan Johnson today. Mm-hmm. Like another performance where he was just completely off it again. And it's like, if Brennan Johnson is not tapping in a goal against lower league teams, right, lower teams in the league, what is he actually offering all round in his all-round game? And tonight showed, again, he's not offering much. And it's like playing sometimes with 10 players. You lose. I would have rather have seen Odebear play today on that right wing, or even Tell, because at least you're going to get someone who's going to run at players, at least try a bit more. But again, he didn't offer much.
But there were some really good performances now. You're focusing on one bad performance, which I agree Brennan was.
I don't know. I think there was good performances. Like Maddison.
I thought Doggy was fantastic today. I thought Maddison was good.
Fantastic is a bit too...
I think he was brilliant. I thought Bentancur had a really good game.
Why was he brilliant?
Because I thought they couldn't touch him down the left-hand side. They couldn't handle him. He was getting to the byline. He was creating opportunities, creating openings, nutmegs. I think he was back to his old self tonight.
He was definitely really good tonight, and I'm not going to doubt that. I wouldn't say he was fantastic. I'd say he was really good. What would have been better is, in a way, you can't really blame him for example, that Johnson one where he got into the box. He passed it back to Johnson, and Johnson skied it over the bar. If Johnson put it in the net, that's an assist. Yeah. So, I see what you mean. Yeah. He definitely had a much better game, for sure. I think Maddison,
yeah, go on.
Maddison, I think, also played well. I think in the second half, he got better and better. I know that he was tiring, but I still think he should have been playing on that pitch because he is that creative outlook. And he was looking, I know he was looking a bit tired, but he was still looking like he could do something.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for like the 5 or 10 minutes before he went off, he wasn't offering much. But I thought in general, another really strong Maddison display in terms of the way he was just gliding past some of those Frankfurt players was a delight to watch. He was really in the mood. He was really in the mood tonight, Maddison. I thought he had a fantastic performance in general. Obviously, a brilliant assist as well for the goal for Porro. Yeah. I thought personally, really Bentancur had a phenomenal game. I thought he was. So? I thought it was brilliant. I thought he was really great on the half turn, spinning past Frankfurt players. I thought defensively, he was putting out fires a lot. I thought he had a really strong showing for me, Bentancur, tonight.
I think he had a good game. I don't know about if he was class, but I see what you're saying in some of the moments where he was definitely better defensively today. Yeah, he was definitely doing better. He was better on the half turns, but again, there was a lot of times where he wasn't moving the ball like forward enough. And like you want him to be that dictator in the midfield because he's got that ability. But again, with me for Bentancur, it's like you just want to see more. You want to see, he's got more in his locker, but he just wasn't doing it. Like if he like, do you know before he had that massive injury when we were playing under Conte, right? Before Conte got sacked, he was like one of our best players in the team. Do you remember? He was scoring goals. He was doing everything. That's the Bentancur we miss. That's who we need. Getting into the box from corners, scoring headers, scoring late goals and all this kind of stuff. Like that is the Bentancur that we know, but we haven't seen that for a long time. And it's like...
I agree, but I thought today he was really good. I thought he had a really strong performance today.
He was definitely a lot better today.
One of his better performances in a while, I think.
Yeah, but considering how bad he's been. And you want him to play well in these type of games because this is the high... This is a high-pressured kind of... Well, it's the only kind of game this season that we've got anything to give us any hope of having a successful season.
Yeah, but I thought he was one of the stronger players. I thought defensively was pretty solid for a lot of the game. I think we had one moment near the end of the first half which we were definitely sliced open. We got away with it. Ekitike missing a really good opportunity when I think they were on a 4-on-2. After that, I mean, they had one little spell after we kind of had a spell of like a few minutes where we were really on top. Son forced a save out of their keeper. We hit the bar twice, and we were looking on top. And then they had a tidy spell as well. I think Bahoya missed an opportunity hitting it over the bar. Apart from that, I mean, Frankfurt didn't offer much. But again, a draw's a good result for them. So I guess they didn't need to really open up too much. They didn't need to go for it because they know they got the second leg at home.
Yeah, I think that's the worry for me is that they didn't come. I don't think they came to play to open themselves up today. They played very... I
don't think they parked the bus though. I wouldn't say they parked the bus.
They didn't park the bus, but they were a bit more pragmatic. Like there was definitely a low block at times, right? And I think they know that if they could come away with this game without conceding quite a lot of goals, that they've got a massive chance if they go back home to Frankfurt. Because let's face it, it's going to be an absolutely momentous task to actually go in there and get through the next round.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we've made it obviously very difficult. We could have given ourselves a bigger kind of lead. We should have really been going to the second leg with the lead. I think with the game that we had, I think at least a 1-goal lead would have been deserved after that game. And I think hopefully we won't be made to miss those missed chances we had, especially in that second half. I thought first half it was a very even game. Obviously, I think 2 good goals from either side, and I think it was a very even game, not much in it. But I think second half we dominated, and we should have really been at least a goal up in that second half.
Yeah, we deserved more goals from how we played, especially for 20 minutes in that second half. I mean, we hit the bar once, we hit the post once. Van der Ven at the end.
Oh, what a chance from Van der Ven!
It
right
was,
at the end.
but again, he could have done. He should have done.
How
better
has he
with
not
that.
scored that? It's an absolute sitter, and it changes the mood if we get that goal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you look at that replay again, he basically was kind of like it kind of just missed it. It kind of just skimmed off him, and he never got that connection. But because of the way the ball was coming into him, and it gave that keeper the awkward kind of thing to try and awkward kind of situation to try and tip it over the bar. But we were unlucky not to get it in there. We would have been a kind of lucky goal if it went in, but still. Yeah, I just think we deserved more from the game based on a majority of that second half. And it's just a shame that we didn't take the chances that we had because going to Frankfurt is going to be really difficult.
It is, and I thought their fans were loud tonight. I think the
They're
fans are
very
going to
loud
be
tonight.
they're going to be very loud next week. They've got an unbelievable home atmosphere, so we just got to hope that the team go there next week and don't crumble and really step up. And I think, look, if we can play like we did tonight, like next week, I think we'll go through. I think we'll win. But it's whether we can replicate that kind of performance away from home at Frankfurt. It's a big ask. And this team hasn't shown that they're able to do it in that circumstance.
You might feel that's in, but I've got to be honest, and I don't think we're getting through this, as I can't see it. I'm genuinely shocked if we get through this. As much as I want them to go through, I just cannot see, based on what I've seen the last 6 to 12 months at this, with the way we're playing, I can't see us.
Yeah, we're back on. Apologies for that, guys. Go on, what are you saying?
Yeah, I just think well, you heard this. You heard it tonight. There's a lot of the times the majority of fans that were, well, you could hear in the background were the Frankfurt fans a lot of the time, and there was only parts where you heard the Spurs fans. So you go to their home ground, they're going to be very, very noisy, and they're not going to let us come there and play the way we want to play. Put it that way.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be a lot more difficult in that second leg. I thought tonight deserved more from our performance. Should have really won the game. Should have taken a lead to Frankfurt. We didn't. Big chances missed. Van der Ven right then. Brennan missed one as well. He blazed over the bar.
He did.
And their keeper was one of the best players on the pitch. You could even argue some. I put out a tweet saying, "Who do you think man of the match?" A lot of people saying their keeper was man of the match.
Who?
A lot of people on Twitter or X
are saying their
keeper was man of the match with some of the saves he made. And I thought he actually had a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
Which is really annoying because he's not even their first choice goalkeeper and he came in and had a fantastic game. So,
but
really frustrating.
Again, we could have done better with the chances that we had.
We should have put them away, especially Van der Ven. Got to be putting them away.
Exactly.
Got to be putting them away.
And that is on us. That's not any refereeing decisions. If the Tottenham took their chance today, we could have gone 4-1 up, 3-1 up. And
that's the frustrating thing. But I think the fact that we played well, our best performance in a while, is encouraging.
Yeah.
But will it be enough in the second leg? You know, especially the fact we drew tonight, really could have done with going to Frankfurt away with the lead. Let's talk about the referee though. I thought he was an absolute disgrace. I was screaming at the TV. I mean, you saw on stream the whole bloody game. In the first half, he gave 2 free kicks against Maddison when he was the one fouled. Twice it happened. I thought those ridiculous decisions. Right at the end of the game, Tiata volleys it out for a corner and he gives a goal kick. The guy throughout the whole game was giving things against Tottenham. Brennan Johnson was completely taken out on the edge of the box and he didn't give a free kick. The whole game he was giving decisions.
As well, needed to be in the first half.
I'm saying he was fouled and he gave a foul against him. Every decision he was giving against Tottenham. And I'm not saying he's the reason we didn't win or anything like that. I'm just saying he had a shocking game and he was frustrating me the whole 90 minutes. It was pissing me off watching him get decision on decision. And look, when you make that many decisions wrong, it does add up. You know what I mean? It does have an effect on the game. Look, if you give 1 or 2 wrong, it's here or there. But I'm just saying, the amount of decisions he got wrong was
I agree
so frustrating.
It is frustrating. But the thing is, it's been like that for, like I said, Yusuf, I've been to quite a few home and away games recently. And I've seen it in every single game. The amount of decisions referees are not giving us is ridiculous. I think it's a problem in football these days. I think it's a massive problem, not just with us, but I've seen it affect us a lot lately. But I'm not trying to use that as an excuse because we should still be winning that game, regardless of the referee decisions. We should still be able to put that result in the fate of our own hands, not refereeing decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no, I agree with you. And we had enough chances regardless of 100%. The referee to win the game. I completely agree with that. But still, the referee massively frustrated me. Honestly, oh God, he was boiling my blood watching him ref this game. Thankfully, we're not going to have him ref the game next week. I mean, he was, and also he didn't give any added time. You like first half, no added time at all. He just allowed Frankfurt to do what they want. There was one moment as well. The one of the Frankfurt defenders was literally hugging Son. Doesn't give a free kick, and they nearly scored from a counter from it. Yeah. He was just pissing me off the whole game. That referee, he was absolutely diabolical. It was just a terrible, terrible ref. Really annoyed me. But anyway, that's my rant about the ref over. But I think overall, massively frustrated with the result. Very encouraged with the performance. Our best performance probably in a while.
It was a good performance.
I think it was our best performance.
Definitely second half.
Second half we were well on top of them. And I think as well, we were on top of them. We created lots of chances and we restricted them to very few chances. I think they didn't really have too many.
No, they didn't.
And the goal they scored, you got to say, it's a great goal. I know.
That's why, Sim, it's more frustrating because, again, like at the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, they were there for the taking, and out of the balance of play, we probably had the better chance in the Chelsea game, right? But again, we came away in that game with a loss, and today we came away with a draw when we really should be winning this game, and that's the frustrating thing because they have the ability to do it, and that's where I feel like there's definitely issues with the tactics in this team because too many times it's like they switch off completely and they just like when. For a period of about 15 minutes, they started 10 to 15 minutes in the game, second half. They started to kind of, like, you could see the players, they were moving around a lot. They were, like, energetic. They were kind of passer moving, trying to be quick with their play. They were trying to get, players were getting into space. Dogi was getting into space. Madison was moving a lot more. Bensko was moving a lot more. They all were. And then all of a sudden, bang, they're walking again and no one's moving. And it's like, how do you expect to keep that intensity up? This is just before Bergvall had that shot. We hit the post again. In that phase, that's when they should look at what they're doing and keep doing that the whole game. But that's the problem. They just drop off because it's laziness. It's whatever it is. It's complacency. It's laziness. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we've done it for that. We haven't scored. And then it's like, then they expect the same outcome, right? By doing, they expect a different result by doing the same outcome of just walking and standing around. No, if you want to have the best chance of scoring, you've got to keep doing that for the whole game. If they had played like that, right, for the rest of the second half, I guaranteed you would have scored 2 goals.
Well, you should have scored 2 goals anyway.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if they had that intensity, what they had for that 15-minute period in the second half, if they had that for the whole second half, we would have scored 2 goals. I'd bet money on it.
Yeah, well, we ended up with a draw. So you think it definitely won't be enough next week?
No.
What do you think based on what you saw tonight?
I think.
Do you think it's going to be a completely different Frankfurt? You think, or
I think it's going to be 2 or 3-1 to Frankfurt.
2 or 3-1 to Frankfurt based off tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's no way we're going to score more than 1 goal.
Why not?
Not what I've seen. No way.
If we play like tonight, we play like that next week, we can score more than a goal.
Don't do it to yourself.
It's true, though. If we play like that, we can score more than a goal.
You believe that? I don't. I cannot see that happening. I cannot.
If we play like we did tonight, we can.
No.
It was our best performance in a while.
Sim, we played better against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Than tonight?
I'm saying, in retrospect, we played better than Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We had the chance to take that team apart. Mm-hmm. They were the worst Chelsea team I've ever seen at Stamford Bridge, and we still lost the game.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that it makes no difference how we played tonight. The fact is, for me, from what I've seen, the evidence is what I've seen in the last 6 months. There's no way we're going to go to Frankfurt and win. I just can't see it.
Based on the evidence of the last 6 months, yes. But based on what I saw tonight, I think there's a chance if we can play like that.
Do you not forget the evidence of the last 6 months? How it's win, lose, loss, draw.
You can't forget it. I'm just saying, you got to, this is where we are right now, and we're getting players back. We're getting some cohesion in the team.
I have a lot of positivity and faith in life, right? But when it comes to Spurs, I do not have that hope. I cannot see it. I cannot.
Alex Humphrey says you need to relax.
I'm very relaxed. I think it was Sim who was more animated than me that whole game. So I think you'd be telling Sim to relax.
Yeah, and I mean, I was...
you telling me to relax.
I was stressing that whole game.
He was stressed. I was sitting there calm as a butterfly.
But yeah, I have to say that Van der Ven chance right at the end. Oh my, that was easily the best chance we had, and how he hit that into the ground. How is he not completely burying that? That is such a gilt edge opportunity, and it would have been great reward as well for the performance, in my opinion, that we had. And if we could have got that goal, taken a lead to Frankfurt, all of a sudden things look very different. If you look at the stats overall, we had 10 shots to their 4, 2 big chances to their 1. Their goalkeeper made 5 saves on the day. 0.89 xG for Spurs, 0.36 for Frankfurt. It was a bit closer in the first half, but second half. Not in the first half, there was nothing in the XG, but second half, 0.67 to 0.13. I think you look at the, for all the people saying, for all the criticism of how open we are and, it's so easy to play against, we didn't give up too many chances tonight.
We didn't.
I think defensively we looked a bit better.
We did look a bit better today. We definitely looked a bit better. I just think that, again, balance of play. Let's be honest, we probably should have won that game. And
I think Porro and Udogie as well. There's a lot of criticism pre-game for not playing Spence, but I thought they both did really well. They
both did well today. I think they're probably 2 of our better players today.
So I think maybe deserves credit. I know, actually, to be fair, Spence did come on and play well as well.
He did.
So you got to give him credit there. But I thought Udogie much better than what we've seen previously. And Porro was brilliant.
Yeah, in an attacking form, I think the best 2 players were Udogie and Porro. I'm not sure. I think Porro's goal was unbelievable. It was a really good goal. But Udogie was definitely the most dangerous player on the pitch. Like he was time and time again going past his player, putting balls into the box, and he puts a few good balls into the box, a few bad ones as well. But again, the players that had the chances didn't take them. And if those players take the chances, you've got 1 or 2 assists from Udogie tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that is your instant match reaction of Spurs' 1-1 draw against Frankfurt in what was a really frustrating game. Just got a quote here from Ange Postecoglou. It says, I guess a little bit frustrated by the result. I thought the performance in general was really, really good from the boys. Obviously, we conceded early, which was disappointing. It was a fair strike from the lad. We responded well. We hit the crossbar 3 times on another day. We're winning that game. Hard to disagree with that. In my opinion, I think we really should have won that game. All right, we'll bring you more quotes from Ange as we get them. But it's now your chance to have your say. The link for the Zoom is in the community section. If you want to go there and get the link, can we put it? We'll put it in the chat as well. I think. So just put it. Just put it in the chat, and we'll get us. If you want to come on, you can come on. I'll put it in the chat, or just maybe make the link public on maybe, I don't know if you can do that. But anyway, let's start getting some people on. So let's get, one sec, we're just getting people lined up. Let's get Rovshan on. Rovshan, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in. Frustrating result today, wasn't it, Rovshan? What do you think of what you saw today? Any encouragement with the performance, or just another game where you're left frustrated?
Hello, guys. First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, disappointed because, first of all, as we know, it's the biggest game of our season. It's the only thing that we have available for this season. And I think we fumbled it. I think that's it. That's it for this season. And that's it for Ange, because I think the only thing that kept them for so long, different than other managers, was this Europa League, which gets us to Champions League and it's a trophy. And I think that's ended. Look, there's a second leg. I know that you always have a chance to win in a 90-minute game. That's for sure. But it was home tie first leg.
Sorry, can you mute? Yeah. There's another guy there. Can you mute him? Because I can hear him.
We can hear people in the back.
No, this is not a goal, Rovshan.
One sec, Rovshan. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Go for it.
First of all, the home tie was the important one to win. We needed to go there with the lead. I think going there with the lead wasn't enough. We needed to go there with 2-goal lead.
I agree.
At least. because Eintracht Frankfurt away is much more hostile than Galatasaray away, and like there's no way we will handle that pressure. Like I want to give us that chance, but like seems sorry, but 20-30%. That's also based on the last 6-7 months, as Danny said, because I have no right to trust this team, because within a game we go on a 10-game winless run. We don't know how to win games, and today we showed again. We don't know how to win games. Even if we perform good, even players are intensive, are on the front foot, like Pedro Porro, going up and down, up and down, up and down. Romero was in his A game, but we still couldn't win. Why? Manager doesn't put the right stuff on the pitch. Like, I'm not the one to question. I don't know anything about football as him, but what I can say is I can base it on results. And if players are in their A game, apart from Solanke, if players are in their A game and we still cannot win, then Ange is the problem. It's a home tie as well. Yeah, sorry.
No, go on. I was going to ask you a question, Roshran. Do you think it's the players? Do you think it's the manager? Because for me, I've seen time and time again this season where we have a game like today where really we should be winning this game based on the performance. But again, we haven't really got someone who's kind of taken the game by the scruff of the neck and just been like, do you know what? I'm going to have a crack and just try shoot from distance or try something different other than walking the ball into the net. I think it's too much of the same thing over and over again and trying to expect different results by doing the same thing. It's kind of a bit like the definition of insanity. You're not going to get a different result if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Do you think that is a systemic problem? Do you think it's the manager? Do you think it's the players? Or do you think it's a mixture? What do you actually think is causing this? Because it's again, today we played probably better than them. And we should have won, but again, we didn't win. We couldn't get it over the line.
But did we play better than them? Like, is playing better means dominating possessionally? I think Frankfurt played cleverly. They know that there's a second leg.
Yep.
There's an away game, so they didn't want to attack. I promise you, second leg, they will tear us apart.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
They are third in the Bundesliga.
Yes.
Why should they attack us all guns blazing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
100%.
That's not clever. It was their tactics, and it worked out perfectly. I just don't agree with the narrative that attacking and running more means that you played well. No.
Yes.
And Eintracht allowed us to do that.
Yeah, but did we not do? How many chances did they create? How many chances did we create?
How many big chances did we have? The last chance was the only big chance we had.
From Brennan. We had one from Brennan as well.
Brennan Johnson was not a big chance, I think.
He scored exactly the same goal. He scored exactly the same goal last week against
Southampton.
But the same it's all about that. Every team misses big chances every game, but the ones that
Madison
wins
had
games,
we hit the bar twice. Son had one, which was a brilliant save.
So why didn't we win that game then?
Because we missed chances.
Then the players are a problem, right? Then in the evidence of that.
Well, for today, we missed the chances. So you can take.
I think we had to statistically we had 2 big chances and we scored one of them.
Yeah.
So we missed one big chance in the end of the game. We had 10 shots and 0.8. I'm not that statistic guy, but we had 0.89 xG. So it was not a domination game. It was a good game from Spurs intensively, but tactically it was good game from Eintracht Frankfurt. I just literally think that.
I agree with you because I was watching in the first half and even in the second half, some of the football that Frankfurt are playing, they were playing one-touch football. They were passing in and around our players like they didn't know what they were doing. Like the Tottenham players didn't know what to do. And I think that's what you mean by when you see them tactically playing like that. They played that way for a reason tonight because I also think they're going to tear us apart in Frankfurt.
They know they're in advantage in second leg. Why would they go on a battle with us today to leave a spacing behind?
Yeah.
Because if they leave a spacing behind, we have a much more chance to score goals. They were, I think, I'm sorry, this might sound wrong, but I think Frankfurt manager out-tacticked Ange today.
Yeah, I think so.
Same as all the managers that has done in the past 6-7 months. Like, I'm not a big Ange hater or that stuff. But what was he saying? We miss our big players. That's why our season was in a mess. Now we have these players back for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
We still can't win games. We only go and win Southampton. With an okay performance. So what's your excuse now?
Yeah.
We have all the players available. What's your excuse now? I think he's an excuse man. I really don't like his feature. This feature, like he's just finding to get out of the trouble, finding excuses to get out of trouble in that moment. But in important occasions, he can't put two things together. I think Eintracht got what they wanted today, and that's what matters in the end of the day. Look. Anything can happen in the away day. I'm not 100%. I'm going to watch the game and I will believe that we're going to go through. But my faith has gone down. I think that stadium is like they eliminated Barcelona there in Europa League 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're good.
It will be very hard. And one disappointing thing as well. Bodo Glimt won 2-0 against Lazio. So probably they're going to go to the semi-final. And we could have had Bodo Glimt in the semi-finals. And we still couldn't do it. Like, it's very disappointing.
It is.
Squad is there, but results are still not there. So Ange needs to be questioned.
Rovshan, can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Do you think our squad is good enough to actually compete at this level and to beat a team like Frankfurt?
100%. Like, one or two pieces are missing from the squad, like a top striker. And maybe some good, but this squad is very good. We have a World Cup winning centre back and Van de Ven. Fullbacks are good. We have Jet Spence, another good fullback. Right? I think very good. Yeah, so, we need one world-class attacker. But so other 10 players,
So no, I was going to say. So then, do you think it's the coaching style or the tactics that's the problem at this club? And not the players. As I said, I'm not a passionately hating on manager, but I think Ange needs to go. That definitely needs to go. Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you.
When you lose 55% of your games in the whole season, okay, injuries played part, but what about the games we played with full squads?
Yeah.
Because we had so many games where we played. Let's remember, we had a full squad in the beginning of the season and we were still not winning our games.
Yep.
Like, let's remember that as well.
Yeah, but tonight we were good enough to win, in my opinion. We should have won.
But we didn't win.
I know we didn't, but we should have. We had the chances to win the game.
We can't base
I think we were not good enough to win the game today. Like, we had, I don't think, it's opinions, it can differ. I respect that, but just, I don't think we were good enough. Because, like, first half, I think players were so good. They were putting their bodies on the line. They were doing everything to win that game. And that's why we had some good chances. That's it. But tactically, do you really think we opened them up too much? Do you really think that?
No.
No, I don't think so. And Yeah,
Sim?
I think we had enough chances to win the game. 100%.
But he's saying, do you think we opened them up enough?
It was tough to do it, but we opened them up more than they opened us up. And I think we definitely had enough chances to win. Their keeper made 5 saves, 5 good. A lot of them were good saves as well. We should have won that game, and we were really unfortunate. Finishing wasn't there. And that one chance right at the end, 10 times out of 10, that has to be a goal. You can't be missing that opportunity right at the end.
I think on the balance,
they had a chance.
Yeah, go on, Roshan.
Again, I still think. First of all, I have to come to conclusion that I think, apart from Van de Ven's chance, there wasn't a big chance. That's my opinion. But yeah, I agree with you. That should be a goal. That must be a goal. Yeah. But the Frankfurt's gameplay was all about today to invite Spurs to our half, and at best they're going to create one best chance, and we escaped that. We did our job, and they did that today correctly. Ange's plan, he needed to know how to win this game. Eventually, we didn't win, but season ended. That's the most. At the end of the day, that's what's That's the point. The season ended. So what will we go back and say, oh yeah, we played well against Eintracht, so that's acceptable? No. Eventually we have nothing to play for until the end of the season. Hopefully we go through next round, but I totally don't believe that. Let's see. I hope I'm wrong, but just I generally think that we just played well and that's it. We didn't do anything else. We didn't win the game. Because one thing is to play well, one thing is to win the game.
Yeah.
Eventually we didn't win the game. And under Ange, I remember all the games we win because they are too low. The number of the games we win are too low. That's why I remember all of them. This manager at this level doesn't know how to kill the games, Just do like it's Manchester City, do like Arsenal, kill it. It's not all about playing well. Sometimes you need to win it.
Yeah. All right, Rovshan. Nice to have you on, mate.
Call, mate.
Appreciate you calling in, and we'll speak to you soon.
See you guys.
Good to see you, man.
Goodbye.
Take it easy.
All right, that was Rovshan saying we didn't deserve to win. Let's get Mitch Coco on. Mitch,
how you doing?
How you doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your time. So, tell me what your thoughts are. Do you agree, Rovshan? We didn't deserve to win today, or were we unlucky?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, no, I don't think we deserved the game. Even that Van der Ven chance at the end, like whether that goes in or not, like we had like a 90-minute period that we can kind of examine.
Yeah.
And I kind of just wanted to talk about like two things, right? Like when we have the ball and the moment we lose the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When we have the ball, firstly, it's so funny. I think Danny was speaking, like he had a really good point. We need players in the middle where the ref is, like in the middle pocket spaces to create the triangles, to help the wingers get some space and stuff like that. Instead of like us shying away from the ball, you know what I mean? So I just wish we played a lot more centrally and not relying so heavily on the wing play.
Yep.
And I feel like all of our goals, that's the only goal we score, which is down the wing.
Yeah.
And then cutting, and then and that's what we see in training as well. And I just wish we had that, central play. The one time we did, like when Bergvall had that shot, like we need more of that, like that outside the box. I think last time even like Saar, when that goal was disallowed, like that type of outside the box shot, just to open it up a bit, you know what I mean? And even if it doesn't go in, like a deflection, Solanke could pick up the pieces, stuff like that, just create some create some attack. But I feel like when we're actually going forward, we don't really have a plan outside of the winger.
No.
And the other thing I just wanted to say is, the moment when we lose the ball, like not the defending as a whole, but that moment we lose the ball, we need everyone to like sprint back.
Yes.
Obviously the defenders around the attacker that has the ball, obviously they're going to react and go all out. But we need the whole team basically, especially the ones that are really far out, like a Johnson or a Son who's like really far out. We need those guys to sprint back because that's why we always have that back post free. So yeah, I just wish when we lose the ball, we just kind of go back. We don't really sense that panic. Even today, when Frankfurt go forward, I don't know about you guys, but I always feel uneasy and I feel like they have more. It was like more openings. Yeah, when they're going forward, even like at the end of the first half, not even just one player free. There was like two. It was like a 4-on-2 or something. They probably should have converted that.
But do you not feel like we had enough chances and moments in that second half to feel like we should have won that?
I think no, we did have the chances, but I feel like for the amount of times we hit the crossbar, it was not necessarily from our systematic designed play. You know what I mean? It was one of them was from a corner, like with the header. And, at the end of the game, I don't necessarily want to always rely on the 90+ injury time situation. Like there's so many opportunities during the game that I feel like, we could create, but just on the wingers, because obviously we played through the wing a lot. Son and Johnson, they were pretty poor. Son was poor, but Johnson was like a ghost.
Yep, again.
like Odegaard was injured, right?
He was
no,
on the bench.
he said he got cramp. Odegaard, sorry,
Okay.
not a doggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Odegaard is was on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wish maybe in the next game, I wish like Ange would reverse it. Maybe, I mean, if we can't start Odegaard, maybe start Tell and Son comes off as a like a late game sub when he's
Yeah.
kind of fresh, not starting the whole game and then Tell comes on at the end.
Do you know what the problem is, Mitch Coco? I think it's that because Son is the captain, he doesn't want to take replace him basically, and I think that captaincy is really affecting him. Personally, that's what I believe. I think it's too much pressure for him because I don't think he's captain material. And I kind of said this before he was made captain. He's just not captain material. I think it's too much weight on his shoulders to carry this team because he's just not that person to grab you in the game and be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's just not his style. It's not his personality. And what you were saying earlier, just to go back on your point, you were talking about how we seem to have an open space in that central bit of the midfield, right? Where when we are attacking, it's like no one's moving into the space where a player or two should be there, right, to actually receive the ball. And then what we do is we end up going to the wing, or they're going back again, going to the wing again, going back again. And the players that we do have on the wings, they're not good enough to actually take on their man and get a ball in most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think a big problem is that it's like we play this kind of like FIFA style of football where we go down the wing, try cut it back and tap it in. And it's like everyone knows our game. Every single manager knows that is how we play. And if you stop us playing like that, then you stop us playing, which is what most teams have figured out. And it's like we have no... Do you think it's then Ange that is refusing to have a plan B? Or do you think it's the players that just are not really bothered by this style anymore? Or do you think they just are done with the manager? What do you think it could be?
Yeah, it's definitely just on the Ange thing. Like we need some we need some ideas, and I don't think he has an idea. And every time you listen to him talk, he's always talking about his philosophy and like not changing, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all good, but when we're in like a European Cup like this, when you got first leg, second leg, you can't just play the same game. And I feel like next game we're gonna play the same. We're not gonna adjust.
No, but you don't think tonight was right to play that way though?
Like play what way?
Tonight attacking, go for it.
Did we really go for it?
Yeah.
Did we not?
Not for the whole game. Not in that game. What I'd expect him.
So he did change. What are you trying to say then?
Well, I think what Mitch Coco. Correct me if I'm wrong. By the way, I think you're trying to say that if in a game of that magnitude tonight, you'd expect Tottenham at home to be going for the game with the whole 90 minutes, right? Or at least 70 minutes of that game.
I'm confused, but are you saying he doesn't go for it enough?
Yeah, I think he's one-dimensional. We don't have enough different ways of playing.
Well, I think they did go for it, but I'm just talking more about the strategy about how we go about it. I wish he switches that up, and hopefully in the next game, because we have some game to study of Frankfurt now. So I mean, they're going to look at us and see how we play, and then they're going to learn from that. And I feel like we also need to adjust and kind of overcome it.
Do you think we will for the next game?
Nah, I don't. I don't think so. But just on the specifics, so Son had a poor game. Johnson, you know what I think Johnson needs to work on is when he crosses it, he needs to beat that first defender. Like a lot of his crosses never get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not his game. That's the problem.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you can work on crossing it like a bit higher, or at least getting it around that first defender. You know what I mean? Like, or just pass it back. But
he's a very basic footballer, Johnson. He's a very basic footballer. He doesn't have football intelligence, and I've said this from before he was a Tottenham player. That's just my opinion, but you can agree or disagree. It's up to you.
No, I agree. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys.
Go on.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead. Yeah.
No. Go on.
Go for it.
Oh no, I wanted to ask you guys about the Maddison getting subbed late game all the time. Like I guess he gets a bit tired, but I kind of want to see Maddison in that late game.
Yes.
Like 70 plus minute to pick that lock. Yeah. And obviously Sa is a good player and he does a lot of good running and got a lot of legs, but I feel like at that ending game we need that Maddison bit of that moment, and
Yep.
he always gets subbed off. He never gets the chance to
Yep.
actually
Yep.
play in that moment. And yeah, what do you guys think about Matters always getting subbed off at the end?
I think he's a player who probably struggles to play 90 minutes. I think he's been that player throughout his career. It's not just here. If you look at us Leicester fans, he's always a player that's struggled with his fitness a lot of the time and struggled with intensity. And I think I think he's probably played more games this season than he has for a lot of his other seasons. And I think it's because we're managing him in a different way to maybe how he has done for a lot of his career, which is why maybe he's had fewer injuries by and large this season than he has. So it is frustrating. I agree. Maybe, I would also want him in those moments as well. I agree. But if he can't play 90 minutes, that means either not starting him, which people get even more frustrated with, or playing him 90 minutes where maybe he's not up to it and he gets really, really tired. I thought for the 5 or 10 minutes before he got subbed off, he was waning a bit. I really did. I thought he was struggling. So I understood it. I actually thought he had a brilliant game overall. I thought, especially for the first hour, he was fantastic. And then he started to wane a bit. I thought he was getting caught on the ball. He was looking tired. Maybe he wasn't doing the running back needed potentially. And he got subbed off, which is frustrating. I agree with you. And especially when we don't have Decky, then it means we don't really have that another creator in the middle. So, but I don't know how we solve that problem. Is it just play him even when he's tired? Is that what we're saying?
Well, would you have preferred to have seen him stay on? Because I want to ask you what you. I mean, from my interpretation, when he came off the pitch, he looked really pissed off. Like the camera kept like going to him a few times in that last period when he wasn't playing, and he didn't change his facial expression the whole time. He looked like he wanted to be back on that pitch. That's what it looked like to me. He looked angry and annoyed. Do you think that that's something there? Do you think he feels maybe he was unjustly taken off, or do you think that the manager was right to take him off?
No, I agree with him not if he's not able to play the full 90 minutes, but I would like to see maybe whether it's this game or in the whole of this season, or he always gets taken off, and I do want to see him given a chance once in that late game, even if he is tired. Because when we ended, just going back to what you were saying about Johnson and his quality, there was this moment towards the end of the game, it kind of opened up for us and he could slide that ball ahead to Solanke, but it was a little bit behind Solanke and Solanke couldn't get his shot off. And it's just like little moments like that I wish Johnson could have improved. But no, I agree with what a lot of you guys are saying. But just super disappointing. And just one thing about Ange that I just wanted to say is the thing he doesn't do is he doesn't take criticism well at all. I just wish he was able to like talk about our weaknesses and what we need to improve on, and kind of if like a journalist or anyone says a criticism, it's like, I don't know, I feel like this was the moment I was like, nah, I can't.
That was the moment
I was like,
Sim started to change his opinion.
This was the moment. For the whole season,
I was at that game, and it was quite in it when he did that afterwards. The away end went absolutely mental. Like it was quite bad. It was quite bad. I want to ask you, what do you think? Just before you go, what do you think of Ange's comments? He made some comments about. I don't know if you had the comments up, Sim.
Well, he said what, the footballing gods.
But no, not that. About how well we played. He thought we played very well basically tonight. Do you agree with what he said about that?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of managers, like in that situation, they're disappointed in their team and they come out and say, we didn't play a good game. Yeah. We're going to play better. Yeah. Like they say that instead of like trying to covering himself up. And I feel like this moment shows us that he's kind of just an individual guy. He's not really unifying the club anymore. No. He's kind of just trying to prove himself right. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like where I'm at with him.
I think I think it's the manager's job to like. The last time I saw a manager unified a fan base was Pochettino, right? He unified the club, the staff, the board, everyone, right? And I don't think we've had a manager since do that.
Do you think Poch would have said we played badly tonight?
Yes, definitely.
I don't know if he would have.
He was never a player. It was never. If we played badly and we should have won a game, he's not going to sit and say, "Yeah, we played fantastic."
He wouldn't say we played well.
He said we should have won the game. We had moments where we played well, but he wouldn't have sat there saying we played fantastic. I couldn't have asked for more from the boys. Like, how can you say you couldn't have asked for more when you've drawn a game of this magnitude? It's stupid. It makes yourself look more stupid.
Because we had the chances to win, and we should have.
Yeah,
won.
but we didn't win, Sim.
I know we didn't win.
So why would you say we couldn't have asked for more?
It wasn't because the players didn't give everything.
As a Spurs
it wasn't,
fan,
but he's not saying.
I know, but sitting here listening to a manager say,
do you think the players gave everything?
No, but listen, saying we couldn't have asked for more, right? As a Spurs fan, listening to my manager say we couldn't have asked for more when we drew a game like that when it was a must-win game, and really we should have won the game. I cannot stand that when a manager says that. Because for me, it's like he's disrespecting me as a Spurs fan. I'm sitting here watching this team not play to their potential, and he's sitting there saying, I couldn't have asked for more. I mean, that's disrespectful. Do you not find that disrespectful?
No, I don't find it disrespectful. I think, look, tonight, I think the team did give everything, and I thought we did play well, especially in our second half. We played very well. We're on top of a very good opponent, and we were unlucky with the chances we missed. If one of them goes in, or a few of them should have gone in, and all of a sudden we're talking about a good victory. But I don't think it's not about the players giving more. It's about them being clinical and putting their chances away. And I'm sure he's frustrated. Yeah, he said he's frustrated. He said, I'm frustrated by the result. He said that. But he was happy with what the players showed. And it was a lot better, because it was a lot better than what we've seen. It was an improvement.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but he's still contradicting himself.
Why is he contradicting?
He's saying he's not happy with the result, but then he says that he couldn't have asked for a better performance.
That's not what he said. He said he couldn't ask them to give any more.
Yeah, of course he can ask them to give more, because they should have given more by winning the game.
Yeah, but you don't win games by running more. Is by putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, that is essentially another form of giving more.
Okay.
Got to be more clinical. You have to be more clinical, right? That is giving more. If those
but players don't try and miss the chance. They try and take
if Brennan Johnson was clinical, he's putting that in the back of the net, right? If Bergvall was more clinical, he's putting that in the back of the net, for example. That's what I as a fan, that's how I see it. Because I expect that team to be better.
We want to win, but he's managing this team. If he blasts them after this game, what kind of reaction would he get from the players who gave everything?
Yeah, but did they give everything to him? You really believe?
So now you're saying they didn't give everything?
I don't think they gave enough.
Okay, that's opinions. Anyway, Mitch, appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thanks a lot.
Great call, Mitch.
Thanks for calling and giving your opinion. Really great call. And we'll see you very soon.
You guys
Oh. No, nice one,
Big
Mitch.
Up,
appreciate
man.
you.
Big up, Mitch.
A few more quotes here from Ange. On the final chance from Van de Ven, he said, I'm resigned to the fact that the football gods have got their eyes elsewhere this year. They're obviously busy with other clubs and other managers. So whatever we're going to have to, we get, we're going to have to do it without them this year. Bemoaning the football gods after Van de Ven's missed chance at the end. On a doggy, he said, he's just got cramp. He was unbelievable today. I thought it was an incredible amount of running he did. His effectiveness is incredible. He was just cramping up a bit. He'll be fine. And on Bergvall, he said he was great, but the whole team was. I thought Rodri was outstanding. Both fullbacks defensively with the ball were really causing problems. Kuti and Mickey handled their front threat really well, apart from the goal we conceded, which was the only disappointing bit. The front three were working with Madders and were really creative. You can't ask any more from the lads than what they did, especially in the second half, to create as many chances. We don't get the win, but I can't ask any more from the players. All right, that was a few quotes there from Ange. Let's get E6 on.
Big up, E6.
E6, how are we doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in again. Nice to see you.
I'm back once again.
Look, hugely frustrating result today. But what did you want to talk about?
I don't think it was frustrating whatsoever. I'm honestly really, really excited about what there is to come. You're seeing a beautiful team. I spoke here last time I came on here about cohesion, and seeing the way we play today. You can see little signs of that. Benson Kerr holding on that midfield, absolutely dominating. I think he won 9 ground duels today, which is absolutely amazing. Man in the match with Tottenham, 100% Benson Kerr. What I'd like to see is some changes, just like the guy before me said. He said some more midfield progression. We've seen him base a lot of our attack around revolving the ball around the width. So Romero to Van de Ven to the left back Udogie to Son, Udogie overlaps Son. And we have the same routine over and over again. When it comes to the right-hand side, you have both of the Brennan Johnson and Pedro Porro, both on the width. and there's not as much overlapping or little to no overlapping whatsoever. So we have no we have no creativity on the width whatsoever. I just wish we had that like system where, in my opinion, if I could have it my way, I'd rather James Madison play on the right hand side, so we can find Johnson with those runs, and we can get more attacking output from the side as well. If we have that going on, I think we have a lot to look forward to. And I want to point out that not Christian Romero, Pedro Porro, James Madison, Bergvall, and Sarr. And fast forward 3 years from today, I think it'll be the most important players for this team, honestly. So look out for that. I just want Ans to tweak the tactics a little bit so that for next
E6, do you think those players are going to be here in 3 years' time?
I hope they're here because the potential we have at the rate they're developing, it's absolutely insane.
No, but it's not that question. The question is, do you actually believe they're going to be here?
And that's hypothetical. If they are here, I think we'll benefit immensely. We need to make sure we
But that's not the question. You're deflecting.
I think they're going to be here.
He can't predict the future, can he?
No, but I'm saying for me, the way those players are playing, I think they will be sold because they're too good to be in this team. We're not an ambitious club. That's why I don't think Bergvall is so talented. They're gonna, if they sign him up on a contract, the only reason they're signing him up on a new contract is because they know that clubs in the next year or two are going to be sniffing around him because he's young and he's that good at his age. Man City, Real Madrid, all those clubs are going to come sniffing for him because he's that good, in my opinion. And there's no way he's staying at Tottenham.
I think they're great talents, but if we are to keep, we should keep them. Do our best to keep them.
Right. It's a difference that we can keep them, right? But look, we got rid of Harry Kane because he was fed up, right? Harry Kane only stayed as long as he did because he came from the academy. These players haven't come from the academy. As soon as a Real Madrid comes in or a top club, they want to go. They're done. And it's just a matter of how much. That's all it is, because that's what Daniel Levy does. That's why I'm saying, do you actually believe we're going to have those players for 3 years? Because Romero's gone in the summer. There's no way there's no way Romero's staying in the summer.
Yeah, I don't think we will be able to hold on to them. But
I'd love to. Don't get me wrong.
If we are going to hold on to them, I think we're going to see a lot of profit from that, honestly, immensely in terms of how they contribute to our team. Christian Romero, I think we can replace him with the caliber of center back and still function as a team. I think he's one of the best players on our team right now, but for the money that we can release him, if you get him for over 100 million, 120 million, for example, to Real Madrid, over 100 million to Real Madrid, do it. I think we can find a caliber of a defender to replace him in that defending position for the future of the team. Because right now we're not 14th in the league. We don't have the stature to hold on to a player of that caliber at this place in the league. We don't have that whatsoever. So we need to focus on building more. Like I said last time, invest in the midfield heavily, and then we'll see the profit of that. Bissouma, I think if he's not going to contribute and Swarm's not going to see an uptick, I think Bissouma needs to be sold, honestly. So we can invest in a better midfield player. I think we need to invest in our attack as well, especially for the left wing. When Heung-min Son departs, I think this might be his last season here, honestly, because of we owe him that chance to leave the team. We owe him that. He's contributed immensely to the team so far. Came here 10 years ago. I think he was like in his 20s, 22, something like that when he came here. He's developed incredibly, but he's contributed enough, honestly. Let him go.
Do you think the club are going to invest in the summer based on what Daniel Levy told us?
I hope we do. And if we do invest, the players I'd love to see in this club, before he went to West Ham, Mohamed Kudus, absolute sensational. I think we need to invest in players.
Daniel Levy told us a few weeks ago that we don't have money to spend.
He didn't say that. He said we can only spend what we have.
Yeah, he said we don't have a lot. That's what he said.
We can only discuss hypotheticals here, whether or not I'm saying.
I'm just going based on what the chairman has told us fans.
Right, but if he does decide to spend, here's where I like it to be spent. I think players with a work rate, the midfield PSG has right now, they're absolutely dominating. It's absolutely beautiful. It's sensational football to watch. Players with that work rate that can handle that midfield with CS.
Who would you realistically bring in then? Who's got that kind of?
Realistically, right now,
go on.
Right now, one of my favorite midfielders right now. He's playing for PSG. João Neves, absolutely sensational. The way he's playing is absolutely brilliant. He's holding that midfield down immensely.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to bring in João Neves from PSG.
No, we're not going to be bringing João Neves, but I'd love to see if we could do that. I'd love to see that. Attacker as well, Kudus, right winger or an AM. work rate sensational. Before he went to West Ham, I was praying that we could get him, get our hands on him. We were absolutely front flying. Chekri as well. Chekri, you guys know Chekri, right? France under 21.
Yeah, Turkey.
Chekri, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
That guy in the team would be absolutely fun as well. I just think we need to unfortunately we need to invest, mate. We're not at the point where we should settle for this. We need to send out we have to compromise on our best players.
But look, let's stick to what's going on now and tonight, because this is not a transfer speculation video. I want to talk to you about next week. So based on what you saw tonight, Ange in his press conference said, I see no reason why we can't play next week like we did tonight. Do you think if we did play next week like we did tonight, we have a good chance of going through?
Yeah, I think everyone's overestimating the form of Frankfurt. Honestly, I think we can absolutely punish them. They have no idea what's coming. We can absolutely just nail the hammer and absolutely punish and dominate them. We just need to make sure we don't switch it up. Ange has a habit of switching things up over complicating things and not having the team build up cohesion. Bergval, Bentancur must start with Madison as well. I like to see Madison play a lot more minutes, especially in the dying minutes of the game. So we can actually see what can happen there against tired legs. But I'm saying if we keep the same team against, I'd like to see one change actually. I'd like to see Dougie swapped out for what's his name on the left wing?
Spence.
Yeah, Spence. Honestly,
do you think Dougie played a brilliant game today?
I think he played a great game today. But when it comes to chance creation, I think Spence he's very, very efficient right now. Honestly, so he's just barely over Dougie right now in terms of recent form. So I'd love to see Spence ahead of Dougie, and I think we can crush them. Honestly, I think we're underestimating how good they are. I just wish we would have a upper attacking tempo, especially in the first half of the game. We need upper attacking. We're affording teams too much respect by playing so conservatively. We need upper attacking tempo and attack more. Get the ball to the width to Paro especially, and let him deliver, because essentially we have with those players, the caliber players we have, is much more than anything Frankfurt has to offer without this guy before he left to Man City. What's his name?
Sorry, Walker.
No, not Walker. Without the attacker that left from Frankfurt to
Marmoush. Sorry.
Yeah, without Marmoush, this team is not half the team they are usually in the league, honestly. So don't afford them as much respect. Play to the higher with a higher attacking tempo, and we should crush them easily, honestly. So
all right, so you're confident then. You're confident. I like it.
I think everyone should be confident. Let's be confident.
It is a very intense atmosphere at their ground, though. They have very good home fans, and that's what a lot of people are worried about. We do tend to crumble in those kind of atmospheres.
We do, but if you play to attacking tempo and not afford them the respect that it don't deserve, because I don't think they're that good in the first place. I think we can crush them easily. Look at the chances we created today. So yeah, I think we can crush them. Honestly, just play to the same tempo, play to a higher attacking tempo, and I want to see more midfield progression. Then I think we can crush them.
All right, yeah. E6, appreciate your call, mate. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Big up E6.
And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
All right, that was E6 saying we're going to crush them. We're going to crush them.
I think E6 is a bit delusional tonight.
Is he? Maybe he's right.
Sorry,
if we play
E6, that's my opinion.
Play like we did tonight, we're going to win easily. Come on, Danny. There's been a picture circulating on social media of Fabio Paratici at the game tonight. So I wonder if that's going to fuel speculation of him returning to Tottenham. I'm sure it's not going to quieten it, that's for sure.
Do you think he's
sitting with Graham Roberts, Mickey Hazard and David Howes in the legend section? Maybe he just qualifies as a legend now. Maybe that's it. All right, who we got lined up next? We got anyone? Is Mark gone? Still here. The camera's gone. Oh, there he is. All right, let's get him on. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing all right.
What do you want to talk about today? Yeah, go on. Fire away.
I'm very frustrated with the finishing. Like, honestly, we do not have finishing. I just don't understand why we can build up all we want. We can set up as many chances as we want, but we can't put it in the net. It doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. I think especially with Brendan had it at the second half, I think he could have not sent it into the sky. Uh, Honestly, it's really frustrating because I don't just watch just Tottenham, but I also watch as a Mexican myself. Uh, watch a lot of Mexican football. Same
Mm.
thing. A lot of the similarities that we're having now is actually same thing. It's pretty much the same thing that we're having with the national team for Mexico. Um, I see that there's a lack of real motivation to get on and
Mm.
to actually attack and actually just go at it. Just and you're right there. You have the chance, you have the openings, but no one wants to take advantage of the openings that they have. Either just lack of knowledge, or just lack of motivation to get in an open space, to get somewhere, to put the ball away. Um, I don't see it. Like when we can put it away, everything's fine. But like today, the finishing could have been so much better, so much better. And then the support, I like the only reason why Poro got it in is because he was able to just sneak it in, not through. I think it was more sheer luck than, or basically just the defender's mistake.
Would you not think it was a good team goal? The goal we scored.
I think, I think we did okay, but I think it was it was all right setting up and building up. I think our build up is pretty good, but I think what we did is that we capitalized on a mistake and we just kind of sneak one in there and instead of really just outplay them and just we can only do that so many times. And I think we should, if we have a trick up our sleeve, we should use it. That you know, but we can't always rely on little things like that because he was just, it was just one white shirt in a sea of orange.
Mm.
Like like what are we gonna do if all we had to do honestly was just shell up and just protect.
But what do you mean? What about
But
the set in the second half? We did create numerous chances, didn't we?
we did, but we didn't go and really just get that finishing that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
It was just off the crossbar, especially with Van der Vent's header. I mean, he's just a defender, so I get it, but our attack, our front line needs to do better. And I've been having an issue seeing Solanke. I, I just I don't understand. He can run all he wants. He can set up all he wants. He can do all this stuff. We hired him to score goals, and he's not scoring goals. Where's the finishing? Where is the the clinical type of play that he had at Bournemouth? Like, where did it go? He's just not being clinical when we need him to be. Um, I love his work. I absolutely love it, but it doesn't mean anything if he can't get a good finish in or getting open into space when at the right times. So I've been having an issue with that. Let's see, what's another thing that I've seen? Also, the way uh, we also start to build up. A lot of the players either are out of position, or when they are, they just kind of don't have urgency to find an open space or create an open space. There's no motivation to okay, now we have them on the ropes, like act like it. They just kind of like just sit there and like not do enough. And honestly, that's getting really frustrating because we had them on the ropes, we had them in
Mm.
a corner. We just didn't have that ferocity uh, that motivation, that urgency to really just end it, just do something about it. They just kind of stood there and stared,
Mm.
and for me,
So
it's
who
that's
do
that's not
you
okay.
but
Mm.
who do you blame for that? Whose fault lies for that happening?
I blame a mixture of both player and manager because the manager is supposed to kind of wake them up and say, "What are you guys doing?" You know, speak. I really, I think, I think it's great that the manager speaks, that this manager, that Ange does something to tell them, hey, wake up. Like, I need you to move. I need you to have an urgency. I need you to make, uh, go make a run and make some space, you know? At least try something. I just don't see that.
Hmm.
Now, yes, it's on the players to do it themselves,
So wait. So you think if we played similar next week to tonight, we won't go through, or we will go through?
I I'm honestly, I don't know, because it gives me doubts, because I love how we're starting to set up, and how we're just trying to set up and everything. But if we continue doing this, of what we did today, of just not being able to finish, we're not going through. And especially that now we're in Germany, that's not gonna happen. I have a lot of doubts. Now if they can work on that, specifically getting more supporting, getting more cohesion, more coordination with each other, and then also get the finishing to finish off the game, then I think we would do better. Ange also, I would say Ange, uh, he's in this place. I feel like he's in this place right now where um, he just can't take criticism well, because he's been kind of set up, and us as a fan base has kind of set him up to a point where any criticism that we give him, whether it's justified or not, he's just not going to take it. He's in this point where he's just in a fight for survival for his job, which is only compounds to the problem that we already have. Because in my opinion, I think he does need uh, a little bit of humility. Um, but I like that he does stand up for himself. But I think he just needs to have a little bit of that touch of humility and say, okay, yeah, I was wrong here. But on these other things that I was doing right, I still stand by them. But I feel like that we've been uh, going where he's either doing great or he's doing crap, where it's not really just a mixed bag, where one side is like, oh yeah, he's doing amazing, he's doing great, and it's just these circumstances that are happening, and then on the other side is like, no, despite the circumstances, he's just doing crap no matter what he does. But I think it's more complicated than we can make it, because especially managing players, managing injuries, managing people who are literally on their back 24/7, 365, saying that you don't belong here. You don't belong at this club. That sets somebody really sets somebody up to be the way he's acting right now.
Do you think Ange Postecoglou is too arrogant?
I think for the situation that he is right now, I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking specifically right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to take one onto the chin and say, "Hey, I got this." And I think if we don't get onto him when he says sorry, that's gonna help. And just kind of, at least just be on his side until the season is over.
So I agree with you. Do you think then he's got a big task, or you could say he's facing a problem where he's not uniting the fan base and the club at the moment, because everything he's doing is kind of going against him?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. It's just, but like, can we blame him though? Like, it's kind of like a self-infliction, whereas now it's, we have now projected our issues and our need for a trophy so bad on him, where he's pushing back, like, who wouldn't in this position? And now
he
both
kind of yeah, go on, Mark, go on.
oh yeah, I was saying both manager and the fan base, we're just not seeing eye to eye anymore, and we're just so blinded by our emotion,
Hmm.
and our desire for something, for results, that we're not giving, from both manager and fan base side, grades on the things that we just can't control. I do agree that injury crisis, it was really bad. Like,
Uh,
you know,
mm. But
um,
look, Mark, we have to
but
move on because there's a lot of people waiting in the background. I appreciate you calling in, though.
yeah,
Thanks for giving me your
yeah, no
time. You're a
problem.
really good call, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks a
man.
lot, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was another really great call. Let's get Nathan on. Come on, Nathan, my guy. Are we back?
Look
Are
at
we
that-
back,
look at that
Nathan?
smile.
Come on. Are we back?
Yeah.
Are we back? Is that it? Come on.
I
We're
have
back
to
on the
Like
train.
the best smile on YouTube now.
apologize. I have to apologize to my guy Sim. I almost left you, Sim. Almost left you. But I came to my senses. We have to back Ange, bro.
We're back on the train. If Nathan's back in, I'm back
Yeah.
in. If Nathan's back in, I'm back in.
You're
Delusion.
driving. You're driving. I'm in the
Delusional.
passenger seat.
What are you
Yeah.
doing, Sim? What are you doing?
I'm listening to
Sim.
Nathan. He's my guy.
Bro,
I can't go
This guy
against him.
Sim. Sim is the most sane Spurs fan I've heard on this call today.
Definitely not.
100%.
Definitely not.
100%.
So how do you describe what you saw today?
Well, today I think it was actually pretty good. A lot of negative chatter saying, "Oh, this, that, that." I thought we played well. Unlike we hit the post like 2 times, the bar 2 times. It's unlucky. Mickey Van de Ven should have scored. The goalkeeper had a 10 out of 10 performance. Have you ever played Dream League? This is that Dream League goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know, the one that's always saving. You know,
Hmm.
he was crazy today. He's the backup as well. It's very frustrating, but I thought we played well. You know, we can't always be negative. We have to be positive sometimes. You know, it was a great. This is one of the best performances we've had in a while, attacking wise. Especially how many chances we created. You know, we can't always just look at we can't be too critical. You know, I thought today was a good performance. Obviously, we wanted more out of it, but we moved. You know, we didn't lose. We done well. Hopefully, if we play like this next week and we actually take those chances, we will win. It's simple as that.
Yeah, the narrative though before the game was we probably needed a lead, or especially some saying even a lead by 2 goals if we got a chance next week away in Frankfurt. So given that we only got a draw, was that enough for you to think next week we will be all right and we will be able to go through?
All I believe we can do it, bro. All we need to do is have faith, back these men, back the manager, and we can do it. But it's a different story. I was watching it on TV. Obviously, I'm not in England, but the Frankfurt fans are loud, bro, and that's away fans. Imagine at their home stadium. And I've heard that they have one of the best fans in the Bundesliga, so that's going to be different, especially in one of the cup games we played against Liverpool. Look at what the atmosphere did to us then. You know, imagine when we go away at Frankfurt. But I still believe if we play like we played today, we can pull something out. You just have to pray, but we can do it. I believe.
Who was your who most impressed you today, or man of the match, or who stood out for you?
For me, I don't want to go for the obvious, but for me, I like Solanke. Solanke worked hard today. Solanke, for me, he worked hard. It's not gonna go. Obviously, he didn't score. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. But that first goal was all him. He worked hard. He created that chance for us. I know he's getting a lot of stick because of what happened on the weekend, but Solanke worked hard. For me, he's the man of the match. For me, at least.
Interesting. Anyone else stood out for you?
Mickey Van de Ven was good. You know, those famous runs that he has, tracking back, he was good as well. I like Ndogi. Ndogi was good. Hopefully he's okay.
What do you think of the decision to not play Spence today? I know he came on 10 minutes ago, but he decided to go Porro and Ndogi, and a lot of people were not happy with that decision. But how do you think it paid off?
To be fair, I thought it was a fair decision. Because look how Ndogi done well, in my opinion. So, what can we say? He's done well. Ange got it right this time. I don't think Ndogi's going to play next week. Spence has to start next week, in my opinion. But for today's decision, for today's game, I think Ange made the right decision, 100%. I have to back him on that. What do you think?
I think Porro and Ndogi are probably 2 of our better players, so I don't think you can criticise him for that decision. A lot of people will maybe point out the first goal. If Spence was there, does it happen? I think maybe look, but then Porro scores, so and Spence have scored, so it's hard to. I wouldn't criticise him for that decision. I think both of the fullbacks played really well. Doggy won his best performance in a while, I think. Really, really great. So if it meant getting his confidence back, and I thought Porro had a really great game, set pieces, brilliant again, great delivery. So I thought, it was good. In terms of tonight, though, I know you said before, you're really getting back in by Ange, but we could still go out next week. We need to probably up our performance. We need to go there and win the game. Draws not going to be seen as a positive result because we're probably a home leg. People say you need to win that game. So how if we don't perform next week, what does that tell you? I guess
for Ange. To be fair, for Ange's case. As long as he's the manager, I'm still gonna back him, but it's gonna be stiff, How can we're gonna have nothing to play for? It's gonna be very, very tough, but I'm gonna back him. In my opinion, I have to back him. I've seen great football in his first season. I will back him 100%.
Yeah, I think. But he's got to make it through this tie, and we have to have a big, big performance next week. And in a very intense atmosphere. It's not something that we've done many times, especially under this manager. Or, to be fair, in general, this club doesn't really perform well whenever. Yeah. Like even in our heyday, we go away to big grounds with big atmospheres, and we falter. Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Frankfurt though? And do you think we'll see a different Frankfurt next week? Do you think we're the better team because we are the better team, or do you think next week we're going to be seeing a different Frankfurt in front of their home fans?
100% they held back today. They weren't going 100% in terms of attacking flow, but you can see at the end of the first half a bit of what they can do. Ekitike should have scored a second goal, to be fair, in that chance. I think next week is going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough. It's gonna have to be 99 overall performances from everybody. If it's gonna be very, very tough with that atmosphere. I think we're the better team today, but Frankfurt might be the better team next week. We're just gonna need a big performance from the big players like Son, Madison, Solanke, hopefully a man like Johnson. But yeah, man. Oh, man on the right. What are you saying?
What do you want to ask me?
What are you saying about the game? What are you saying about Ange?
He disagrees with everything you said.
Yeah, I disagree with everything you said. Absolutely everything you said. I'm not. No. There's a difference between being negative and a difference between realistic, right? You have to understand the facts. The facts are we are 15th in the Premier League table, and we are awful. If we didn't have what we'd have this season, right? We'd probably be in the relegation zone. That's how bad we've been, right? We've been knocked out every cup competition. We're dreadful in all the games, right? I go to games home and away, right? A lot of them this season, and what I've seen is diabolical. It's diabolical.
Can you mute the guy in the background, please?
It's diabolical, right? What? Let me ask you. What? Who's the guy in the back?
Yeah, there's a guy. Can you mute him? Mm-hmm.
What I want to ask you is what has given you, right, this belief that we are going to go and win the Europa League or go and actually do something based on the last 18 months of watching this football team?
Let's talk about this tie specifically.
You can't base it off the last 18
Why
months.
Can't you?
He hasn't had his full players,
No, that's rubbish. He has had his full players. Go and look at the statistics and see how long he's actually had a full squad for.
Okay, Ange Ball.
You can't hold on. You can't come and say to me your opinion without factual evidence. Look at the facts. The facts are we have had majority of the time that Ange has been managing this club, we've had the majority of our players available, and we still have not played any better football than the first 10 games that Ange had at this club.
Okay.
Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence, right? Show me the evidence that I'm speaking crap. Go on, tell me.
Watch Ange Ball at its best.
What Ange Ball? What Ange Ball have you seen? What Ange Ball have you seen? No. Listen. I am very relaxed. You are trying to have a go. You're trying to have a debate with me and tell me that I'm wrong. Give me your.
Yeah, but we're talking about tonight.
Bro,
Yeah, but
brother,
he's trying
your
to say,
debate
what do
is
I think?
emotion-based,
You
bro.
said we didn't deserve to win
debate,
tonight.
bro. Relax.
No, I am
We
very
will win
relaxed,
next week.
Nathan.
We will win next week. Relax.
No, we're not going to win
Have
next
faith,
week. I'll
bro.
bet you money on it.
Have faith.
I'll bet you
Have
money
faith.
on it.
Have faith.
I
This
bet
man
I don't
like
have
you
faith
is
with this
fucking
team.
Spurs,
Why do
bro.
I,
All I have
mate?
faith.
How old are you? How old are you?
Man, I'm old enough, big man.
How old are you?
I'm 20, bro.
You're 20.
Wow.
20.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You haven't watched Spurs long enough to see how bad we have been for the last 25
Doesn't matter,
years.
bro. I
That's
play
got nothing
football.
to
I
do.
watch
That's
Yes,
the
it has.
Arsenal
Why
facts,
is it
mate.
so
It's
negative,
got-
bro?
It's not negative. It's
Relax.
been realistic. You haven't been to a
Relax.
Spurs fan. I've been a Spurs fan longer than you've been alive.
You can't go into games thinking you're gonna lose, bro. How you gonna win if you don't
What are
have
you
faith? What
talking
you mean?
about? You don't go to any games. You don't go to
Wait,
the.
wait,
doesn't
come on.
matter.
What's that got to do?
Nah,
Anything? Let's chill.
Sim,
But
Sim.
you
No,
said
no,
you
no.
left at
I'm not gonna have
halftime
someone
of last
here
week's game.
come and talk like this when he's
Like
got
what?
no evidence whatsoever to back up what he's saying.
Brother,
I'm sorry.
brother, you left the Southampton game at halftime.
100%.
What type of fan is
100%.
this? What
Why?
type of YouTube fan is
What
this?
you
Who are
think I was the only one? Do you think?
Who are
Do you know
you?
how many people left that game at half
Look at
time?
this guy.
Do you
Hold up.
do you hear?
Who
Do you
is this
do you
guy,
go to
bro?
the games? You don't, do you? So you
I
don't pay
can't
the
go
money
to
to
the
go to the
games.
games?
I can't go to the games. I'm not even in the country. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You
So
go to the
so how
games,
do
you
you
have-
know
what type of
what
supporters?
20 other thousand fans are doing in that stadium?
It's not
How
about
do you know?
20,000, it's about you,
How do
big
you
man.
know? You
It's
don't know.
about you, big man.
What are you talking about, bro? What are
said
you
you're
actually
a
talking
Spurs
about?
fan, you're leaving at halftime. How are you leaving?
Of
at halftime when
course,
you're winning?
because I've got
When
better
you're
things to
winning,
do in my
you leave at
life than
halftime.
watch that. I've got better things to do in my life.
But you've left at halftime, bro, and you said you went. To
I've
the
got
club.
better things to do.
Hola, hey, this is the
I
problem
got
with
better
Spurs,
things
bro.
to do.
Man like
I got
this,
better
bro.
things to do.
Man like this is the problem with Spurs.
You're the problem. These
You're
fans like
embarrassing,
you,
bro.
fans like
You're
you are the
embarrassing,
problem because you have this delusional hope and
It's not
belief.
delusion,
But
it's faith,
do you
bro.
know anything about Daniel
It's
Levy?
faith.
Do you know anything about Daniel
What I
Levy?
know about Daniel Levy.
You know nothing. You know absolutely nothing because
Hey,
you're
let
not
him
invested
talk.
enough.
Come on.
You
let
need
him
a
talk.
woman in your life, big man. I'm
I've
not gonna
got a
lie.
woman, mate.
Too much
All right,
Trust
all right,
me.
all right, all right.
This is
Getting
see,
out,
it's
man.
people like you. It's people like you getting
No, no,
personal
no, no.
because you can't take what I'm saying. You got
It's
you
not
got
personal,
no
bro.
idea about me or my
Too much
life,
stress.
and you're getting personal
much
because you
stress.
got no idea because you're an idiot. You're an absolute
Guys,
idiot.
sleeping, bro.
Sim, if you don't cut
Hold
him
on,
off, I'm
relax.
gonna start. I'm gonna go mad. I'm gonna go absolutely mad at this guy.
Danny.
Honestly.
Danny's your name, yeah? Relax, bro. We're gonna win.
That is my name. We're not gonna win. I'll bet you absolutely everything that we're not gonna win.
We're gonna win. All I have
All
faith.
right, do it, do it,
All I have
do it,
faith.
do it.
I will
But
call
we're
it
talking
next
about
Do
week.
it.
we're talking about
No
You need to
problem.
have this man. You
No
need to-
problem whatsoever.
We're talking about tonight. We're talking about tonight. We're not talking about 25 years ago. We're not talking about anything else. So he's called you out for saying that tonight you were being negative about the performance because we didn't win. But he's saying
Yeah, it was
the performance
shit.
was good. See, there you go.
Yeah,
So
it was
that's
not
what he's
shit,
saying.
bro. It was good.
We drew a
Good
game we should have won. That's not
It
good
was
enough.
A good performance. Bro,
It was
brother.
not good enough. No,
It
it's
was
not.
unfortunate.
I don't
It
know what
was
football you're
unfortunate.
watching, mate. I don't know
You
what
hit the
football you're
bar
watching.
twice, bro.
I really
It's
don't know what
unfortunate, bro.
I don't know what football you're watching,
It's
mate.
unfortunate, bro.
Watch next week. We're gonna lose and we're gonna get
We're
spanked.
gonna win, bro. We're
All
gonna
right,
win.
you think that? That's fine.
It's
That's
not,
your
I think
opinion.
I know, bro.
That's
We're
your
gonna win.
opinion.
But,
But,
we're gonna win.
I don't think
We're
it's
not gonna win.
deluded
I
to
don't
say
think
we
we're gonna
played
win.
well tonight because I think we played
We're
well
gonna win.
tonight. I think a
All
lot
right,
of fans
you think
we
that?
played
I
well.
don't.
I know, but you're calling him deluded for saying that we played well tonight.
Yeah, I do.
So,
I do.
Why are you so negative, bro?
It's not rude.
So negative, bro. Relax.
Not negative whatsoever. It's realistic.
Relax.
It's called
We
realism.
done well. You're saying we played shit. Excuse my language.
You think right? This is negative. This is called realistic. I'm being realistic.
It's not realistic, bro.
But I'm saying, but if we're
It's
talking facts, if
negative.
you look at all the facts, we
Not
did play
negative
well.
whatsoever.
If you
All
look
that
at,
negative-
That's your
Why-
opinion.
I'm saying
That's
you
your
wanted
opinion.
facts. You're saying
That's your
by
opinion.
all the facts, we did play better than Frankfurt today. By all the metrics, any fact.
Because oh my god, this is. Can we still hear
Well,
the guy in the
Danny,
background? By the way,
let's just be positive, bro.
mate, You've got no idea about who I am. I'm a very, very positive
I'm going
person.
based off what I've seen, bro.
Yeah.
in the
What
last
about
few minutes.
Tottenham? About Tottenham? About Tottenham?
Come on.
That's my opinion on Tottenham. We are playing awful. We're 15th in the league table, and you think that's acceptable for a club like Tottenham? You know, we're the 9th richest club in the world, and we pay ridiculous amounts of money for our season tickets. Do you understand that?
I cannot hear you guys.
What is he? Are we muted? But all right. Well, actually 14th in the table, Danny, not 15th.
40. Oh wow, it's a big
I'm
difference.
saying, bring facts if you're going to.
That's a big difference, Tim, really. Come on, 14th
Danny,
to
too much
15th.
stress, no smoking. Relax. We're gonna win, bro.
We're not going to win at all.
No, Tan.
We're not going to win at all.
Relax. We're gonna win, bro.
We're not
You're
gonna
see,
win.
We're gonna win. We're gonna
My
win.
opinion. That's my opinion. We're not going to win. You can have
That's
your own
your
opinion.
opinion. You
That's
can have it.
absolutely
You can have
fine,
it.
mate.
All
I
right,
respect
Nathan,
you,
look,
bro.
we got a lot of people waiting, so
Okay,
appreciate
hey,
your
my guy,
time.
Sim,
My
Sim,
guy,
Sim,
come
Sim.
on. I believe in you,
All
Nathan.
that.
We're winning. We played
All
well
that.
tonight.
Play too many video
Come on.
games, mate. You play too many video games.
All right, he just thought we played
Stop
well.
playing FIFA.
He just thought we played well. There's nothing too bad about that. All right, let's get someone on his way back from the game. He's in the car, waiting to give his opinion. We've got Ben in the house.
Who's
Ben,
Who's
come
this
on.
stranger?
What are you saying,
go.
guys?
What are you
good,
What is
man.
all,
saying?
what is all this fighting, man? Everyone needs to calm down a little bit. Everyone needs to calm down.
It's what Spurs
You know what
does
I
to
mean?
us, Ben. It's what Spurs does to us.
We're not out the tie. We're not out the tie. We're still in it. We're still in it, and not bad performance tonight. We should have won the game. We were the better team tonight for sure. For sure, we were the better team
I think we were the
tonight.
better team, but with the chance we had, we should be winning that game. That's my opinion.
Of course, and
And we've
that's
lost the
why it's
chance. We wasted the chance
No, but
tonight.
I agree with you, and of course that's what kind of brings the biggest frustration about tonight is because we were the better team. We had the chances to win the game, and we didn't take those chances. Ultimately, what it came down to today was our front three weren't firing. That's what it came down to. And the front and the midfield, I thought played well today. I thought Bentancur and Bergvall had a really good game. The fullbacks were on point with Porro and Destiny. Destiny had probably the best performance we've seen from him in probably since before his first injury. You know, I thought it was good performances. You know, around the pitch tonight. It was just the front three that massively let us down, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and that's obviously hugely frustrating. It was. We definitely, I think, created enough chances to win that game and to at least take at least a lead, probably by 2 goals, but at least a lead to the second leg, and that was ultimately what could cost us in that second leg. Because I guess a lot of people are thinking, are we going to see a much different Frankfurt in that second leg to what we saw tonight? What do you think about that?
But let's be real though. It wasn't like an unbelievable performance. It was just it was a decent performance. It was a good performance compared to what we've been showing recently. The frustrating thing is that Frankfurt were really there for the taking. That's the biggest frustration because Frankfurt didn't really turn up today. We conceded after 6 minutes or something. They had a few chances throughout the game, but if we really wanted to, we could have put that game to bed in the first leg. And now it's all beyond. It's a massive question. It's basically relies on 90 minutes of football, the outlook for the rest of our season. And look, if Frankfurt play like that in the second leg, there's no reason why we can't go there and win. But we know it's going to be a different tie, intense atmosphere. The fans are going to be well up for it. The Frankfurt fans tonight at the Spurs Stadium, they're in there about an hour and a half before kickoff. Wow. And they were there until an hour and a half after kickoff. And they were bouncing pretty much from beginning to end. So with a whole stadium full of that, are Spurs going to be able to stand up to scrutiny to that kind of intense atmosphere?
No, but look, obviously I will remain to be seen. But in terms of what we saw tonight, was there anything that encouraged you in general? Was it a step in the right direction, or was it, is the frustration the ultimate takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway is just how frustrating it is because when you're on top, you need to put the game to bed and you need to put the chances away. That's the biggest frustration. I'm happy with, in terms of it was a better performance than what we've seen in recent weeks and recent months for sure. Don't doubt it. But when you're on top in a tie like this, when you know you've got to go away to a very hard ground and an intense atmosphere next week, you've got to put the game to bed. And now I do question if we can do it in the second leg. However, looking at the quality of the two teams, it does look like that we have a lot more quality about us. But our front three got a fire. That's what it comes down to. You have to be clinical, and we just weren't clinical enough today.
And it's typical Spurs, isn't it? Their second choice goalkeeper comes in after Trapp is injured and has an absolute worldie. Yeah. It's just classic Tottenham. Talk to me about the referee. I mean, I was going nuts about the referee during the watch along. He was really doing my head in. What was the sense in the ground? Was there a sense as well about this referee having a bad game?
there wasn't, to be honest. There wasn't like kind of any animosity. Like week in, week out, we're seeing like animosities towards referees and poor refereeing decisions consistently happening. I mean, I didn't really notice much from the stands today. Maybe I had a few too many beers before the game or something. I don't know, but I didn't really notice anything about the referee. What happened with the ref today?
Nothing major. He was just constantly giving bad decisions against us, like really frustratingly.
Maybe I'm just used to that now.
There was two in the first half where Maddison gets fouled and he gives 2 fouls against Maddison. There was 2 in the second half where Son gets bear hugged, didn't give a foul. Johnson gets wiped out on the edge of the box, didn't give a foul. And then these aren't like major decisions, but a lot of them just, they tot up and it's really frustrating to watch. There was one where Tiata basically volleys it out of play for a corner and he didn't give a corner. He gave a goal kick. I was just like mind-boggling. I thought the referee had a bit of a stinker, but obviously, I don't know, maybe it's more easy to see it watching on TV when you get to see these decisions on replays and stuff and on maybe in the ground, you only get one look.
No, I do know what you mean, but I feel like this happens week in, week out with Tottenham, and I felt like that was happening a lot in the Chelsea game. All these 50-50 decisions going against us consistently week in, week out. So maybe it's just something I'm used to now, to be honest, because it's just what we see consistently.
Who was standouts for you today? Who are you really impressed with?
I'm very happy with the doggies' performance, and I was going mad before the game that Spence wasn't playing. I really was going mad, and if I had to pick the team again, I probably would pick Spence. However, I think a doggy had a very good game, and for me, the shining light was Lucas Bergvall yet again. I thought he was the one that always trying to up in the tempo, always trying to drive us forward, and that cracker that smashed against the bar. I mean, if that would have gone in, bloody hell, what a goal that would have been. But yeah, I think my man in the match was probably Lucas Bergvall today. I thought Kuti was very good as well today.
Anyone who didn't have a great game, you thought specifically?
Yep. Dom Solanke, once again. Solanke, man. I mean, I don't know what he does anymore. Like, he's
when
really
was the last time he scored, Ben?
January.
3 months
January
ago.
the 15th.
Had a role to play in the goal,
ago.
though, didn't he?
4 months.
Look, he did, but like you're talking about a 90-minute game of football. You're talking about one moment of a game. Like, he doesn't impact the game enough. Brennan Johnson as well was an absolute ghost today. That chance was usually his bread and butter. He's got to be finishing that chance. And unfortunately, I got to say it, Sonny as well, I didn't think played well today. I think the front three, it was the front three that did it for me.
Yeah, that was quite frustrating because I think a lot of the chances that, you look at that we missed, Bentancur hit the bar, Bergvall hit the bar, Maddison had a shot save, Van der Ven had a header right at the depth that has to go in. So you're looking at the front three, how many chances they really had. You had Brennan blaze one over. Sonny had a good chance, which the keeper made a brilliant save from. But I think the ones that went really close, I guess, were not even the front three. So that was really, really frustrating. But
it was that moment in the game, wasn't it, Sim? That moment when those chances were happening, the Bergvall hitting the bar, the Bentancur header, the Sonny chance, all in the space of 10, 15 minutes. That was the moment in the game where the game was there for the taking. We just didn't do it. Did
you see in terms of our attacking play though? I think you're starting to see a bit more cohesion there in terms of the amount of chances we're able to create.
Second half, yeah. I mean, first half we barely created a chance. I mean, a lot of possession, but we were finding it really hard to break them down. Second half,
it was a good team goal though, wasn't it? It was a good team goal, the goal we scored.
Lovely finish, wasn't it, from Pedro Porro? But the defending for the first goal, on the other hand, was completely shocking. But look, I think second half, you did see a few more patterns of play. You saw us breaking them down a bit more. You saw us actually taking a dig from 25 yards. I've been calling for this for so long, pretty much all season.
For ages, Ben.
Just take a dig, people. Take a dig. And, we nearly scored from a couple of them today. So, look, reality is it was better today, but we need to be even better than that if we're going to go through on this tie in the second leg.
Do you believe we're going to go through, Ben?
Do I believe? I don't know, man. It's going to come down to literally I think this could go all the way. Extra time, penalties, what have you. I think it's going to be a very nervy night in Frankfurt next week. And I don't know if we're going to do it. I don't know if we're going to do it. I'm just hoping and praying that we're going to do it. And I'm just going to err on the side of positivity and say, fuck yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to go through. We're going to go to the semi-finals.
In terms of how we managed the game, we didn't
maybe delusion.
we didn't. Well, Danny definitely agrees that that's deluded. What's good in terms of how Ange managed the game? Like we didn't make subs until 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes to go or 15 minutes to go. So he did leave them quite late. He said he didn't make them because he felt at the time we were well in control and there wasn't really a massive need to change it at that time, which, you know, you could argue is fair, but definitely there was a point where we started to tire a bit. Maybe it could have been a bit earlier. What do you think of that?
100%. 100%. I was standing there shouting, Ange, make changes. The front three aren't performing. I thought Solanke should have gone off for Richarlison. I thought Tell should have come on earlier. I thought, you know, we should have made the changes. And I think Tell, when he came on, actually added a bit of energy to the attack. So I don't understand why we wait so long to make changes in game every single week. It could be the difference for us. It really could be the difference, but we leave it too late, and these players don't have enough time to make a real impact.
Do you think there are some decisions to make for Ange in the second leg, or do you go with the team that went today?
Big decisions to make. I think Spence has to play. I'm not sure who for, whether it be probably, judging on that performance tonight, I'll probably put him in instead of Pedro Porro.
I thought Porro was great tonight. You don't think so?
Porro was great tonight, but I think Spence has that more defensive solidity about him, and I think we're going to need that more in Frankfurt. So if we have two kind of bulldozers on the right back and left back, and Doggy and Spence, I think for that specific game, it will stand us in better stead. In terms of the attack, do we go with Brennan or do we go with Odegaard? I think that's a major call that Ange has to make. Maybe even Tell. I don't know. But Brennan did absolutely nothing today. So I think there's question marks on the front three. I think the midfield three is the midfield three that goes into the game next week. Kulusevski apparently ain't going to be ready to start, but will be ready to make an impact from the game. So there are a few decisions to make, but yeah, it's going to be tough, man.
Ange said the football gods were against us tonight. He's given up on the football gods. Have you given up? Have you given up on the football gods?
Sim, what have I told you? What have I told Josh King consistently? F the football gods. They're always against us. They've always been against us, and they will always be against us.
Until Levy leaves this club.
Even when Levy leaves this club, they'll still be against us.
I don't.
They
think
were
so,
against
then.
us. They were against us before Levy was at the club, and they're going to be against us after Levy was at the club. This is just who Tottenham are. When Ange says this is who we are, mate, that's what he's talking about. The footballing gods always being against us.
We have a curse bestowed on this club that the football gods can't penetrate.
No, we've just had owners in the last 30, 40 years that haven't been wanting to be successful at this club.
Tell me about
that's literally it.
Tell me about the atmosphere tonight. It sounded loud at points, but did you feel being in the ground?
I heard Frankfurt fans.
Being in the ground. How do you think the atmosphere was?
So at the start of the game, it was absolutely electric. You know, There were people with their phone lights before the game, a lot of flags, and it really did feel like a massive occasion and a massive night. The Frankfurt fans also playing a part in that, and then it kind of did go flat when Frankfurt scored. But I think in the second half, the fans did respond to the way the team were playing, and the more chances we were getting, the louder the fans were getting. So it actually felt like being at a football game for once, being at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today. So it was good. The atmosphere was good. I was happy with it. Just you boys, I'm looking at you, Sim. You need to make your voices heard in Frankfurt next week.
Oh, you bet.
That's gonna be a hard job, by the way. It's gonna be a hard job.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try our best. And just one last thing, Eki Teki. I know I thought he played well tonight, didn't he? He looks like a real player. Great. I know the defending wasn't great, but you got to say, great goal. 25 yards out. What a finish that was. And I thought there was a few moments he was running the channels, and I think a couple of moments he was competing with Romero and putting some headers. I thought he had a really good game tonight, and he looks like a proper prospect.
Very good player. Very good player. And as soon as he hit that strike, and I was just thinking back to our conversation, saying when I was telling you, oh, this guy's not on form and all that kind of stuff, you know, I was kind of talking him down a little bit.
Oh,
stream gone.
No, is the stream? No, I think it's just Ben's gone. Yeah. All right. I think Ben's crashed out, but that is what he had to say. I think, I've taken him off. All right. He got cut off late, unfortunately, but that was what Ben had to say on the game today. Let's get...
look who it is.
Let's get Rez on. Lovely to see Rez.
Big up,
Long
Rez.
time no see. How you doing, Rez? Lovely to see you.
Is he
He's muted. You're muted. Give him a sec.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes,
Yeah,
you
we
can
hear
hear
you,
you
man.
loud
How
and
you
clear.
guys?
It's good
How
to
you
see you,
doing? All
Rez.
right?
Yeah, good to see you
Good
calling
to
in.
see
It's
you
been
guys.
it's been a while.
It has been a while, yes.
Too long, too long.
Life has been busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
So
and
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
Spurs stress isn't what you need when life is busy. But
Spurs. No. Do you know what? Tonight was good. I sat and watched a preseason friendly with Spurs against Eintracht Frankfurt. It was great. Oh no, it was a cup game. I forgot it was a cup game, wasn't it? I mean, I'm at that sort of jaded point that I've been at so often as a Spurs fan. You know, this is the issue. There are people out there saying that we played well today, and playing well, I think, is relative. Did we play well compared to how we have been playing? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we play well objectively? That's a whole different question.
Yeah.
I don't. You see, it's very easy to point to specifics and say, well, we did that, and so everything's fantastic. But the key is to look at the direction of travel and the general trends a lot of the time. And outside of the first 10 games last season, we have been playing very badly.
Yeah.
Or we've been getting very bad outcomes, right? Sometimes we've played well and done badly. Sometimes we've played badly and done well. Sometimes we've played well and done well and played badly and done badly. But in general, we are not the force that we have been in recent times. You know, we are on a downward trend, in my view. And today's performance and today's results, for me, is indicative of that. Not because we played well, Frankfurt played badly, and we only got a draw and we're unlucky. That might be true in the specific sense, but it's emblematic of everything that Spurs are at the moment. And that's a club that is just making up the numbers. In the quarterfinal of a Europa League, I expected fire from
100%.
our players. And I didn't see anywhere near enough fire. No. And that's the concern for me, is that we seem to play in a very pedestrian, paint by numbers way at the moment. And that's not just on Postecoglou. That has been a problem for the club for some time. And for me, it's just around the culture of the club that occurs, or the reasons for it, is that there's a culture at the club of that's good enough. I don't know if you guys have heard this story. I don't know how true it is, or if it's apocryphal. I think it was Lloris mentioned it, that before the Champions League final against Liverpool, Daniel Levy presented the squad with watches that said Champions League finalist on them. That, for me, epitomizes what is wrong with the club, right?
Yeah.
Getting to a final like the Champions League final is an achievement, but it is not a celebratable one unless you win that game. You've got to win that game to really be able to celebrate. If you don't win that game, getting to it is an achievement that you commiserate. And that, to me, speaks of a culture. And when I was in my more vociferous earlier, when I was getting angry about what was happening, I suppose now I just sort of look at it with a wry smile and a slightly bitter chuckle. But when I was getting angry, the way I described it was that Daniel Levy is the intestinal virus at Spurs, and Ange Postecoglou is the explosive diarrhea that's caused by it, basically. That's the way that I would put it. He is not necessarily a problem. I mean, he is a problem, but he's not the major problem, but he is the big symptom. In as much as the reason we got him is I speculate is because they felt he would be cheap and that he would be easy to manipulate when it came to recruitment. He wouldn't have a big mouth in terms of firing both barrels at the club like Conte would. He wouldn't be, yeah, or Mourinho. I mean, Mourinho would probably, Mourinho would just fire at everyone in his very, very sort of acerbic way. But we're lost. We're lost as a club. Now, we might go to Frankfurt next week and through some concatenation of circumstances, win the game, win the tie, and get through to the semi-final. But then you got the semi-final, and then potentially you've got the final. I mean, yeah, Bodo Glimt might have beaten Lazio today, but do we think that the tie is over when it comes to that? I mean, shocks happen all the time. You know, the likelihood still is that whoever wins our tie is going to face Lazio. Does anyone really see us getting past them if we struggle to get past Frankfurt? We struggle to get past Alkmaar. You know, we finished fourth in our group, in the group stage, sorry, you know, in our group, there's one group now, in the group stage when, you know, the betting was that we were favourites for the cup. I mean, we're just aimless and a little bit clueless and lost at the moment at the club. And Postecoglou is not, as others have said, is not this unifying force. He is wildly arrogant, far too full of himself for what he has achieved, which might have been, you know, for the person that from the place that he's come from might have been an achievement, but you know, stuff like the treble at Celtic. Well, Brendan Rodgers has already run the Scottish League Cup. Celtic are one win away from the title, and they're into the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup as well. So, you know, Brendan Rodgers can replicate what Ange Postecoglou has done at Celtic, potentially. Who really wants Brendan Rodgers as Spurs manager? You know?
But look, let's stick to tonight. Do you,
Sure.
you know, do you think, based on tonight, you know, you say you don't hold much hope that we'll get through next week. Do you think if we play similar to how we played tonight, that we will go through?
No, I don't. Because it's the problem is, Sim, it's not just how we play, it's also how Frankfurt play.
So do you think we'll have to see a lot better Frankfurt?
I think we will. I do. They will be on their home turf. Okay, from all accounts, Frankfurt is an absolute cauldron. It's a place that, you know, is rivals the likes of Dortmund and the Yellow Wall. You know, maybe not quite as intense as that, but it is a scary place to go, apparently. And it may well be that, I mean, there were times, weirdly, this was the thing, there were times in that game where I turned to Kim and said, we're playing as if we're the away team. There were times where we were 11 men behind the ball, really compact. And I thought, we're at home. And so, and it wasn't all the time. I'll readily admit there were times where we were nice and expansive and sort of attacking. And yes, we were unlucky not to win that game, right? A couple of inches here and there, and we would have won that game. And we could have won that game by quite a healthy margin. But football, you know, it is about the result.
It is fine margins as well.
Yeah, and it is fine margins, and sometimes those fine margins happen. But the fact that fine margin, we couldn't gain that margin this time is, as I say, emblematic of everything that's wrong at the club and everything wrong with this specific manager in my mind. I don't believe that this man has the capability to play tactically enough to outwit his opponent. That is my view. Or if he does, he refuses to do so. He is dead set on his specific way of actually playing. You know, there's the meme going around at the moment saying that his new nickname should be Aussie Idealist, you know, which people have seen, which made me giggle. But either he has no ideas or he refuses to think. And we've got evidence that he doesn't, because a little while ago, when it started going wrong last season after those first 10 games, a journalist, I believe, asked him, saying, you know, people have said you've got no plan B, and he said, well, I've got a plan B when plan A stops working. It's not really working right now, you know, but he hasn't. I mean, he makes changes that are like a little bit tentative, and then they go wrong, and then he reverts back, and it's confused. It's difficult to see what he's trying to do outside of what we've seen already, which leaves us very porous in the middle. Very porous at the back, big gaps in the middle, and it's easy to play against Spurs now. Just press us to death and hit us on the counter. You know?
You think we were easy to play against tonight?
I think so. I mean, I think for someone like, I think for Frankfurt, it was a case of they're a little bit less familiar with us, whereas obviously the Premier League, you've got a lot more information. And sometimes you can have a case of they can be surprised. They might have had an off day, potentially, you know. They might not have played as well as their form isn't the best at the moment. You know, I think they've won 2 out of the last 7. So their form has not been very good recently, but that could be anything. It could be tiredness. It could be various reasons. Who knows? But I reckon old Dittmuller, is it? Dittmuller, their manager. You know, he's going to sit down with them this week. Any manager worth their salt will sit down with them and say, look, this is how Tottenham play. Well, you know, I'm going to do my research. This is how they play. You know, you got a bit unlucky. Bring them home, and I think we can do them. That. If I was their manager, that's part of the message that I would be sending. It would be sending, guys, I know it didn't work out wonderfully well, but you got this, right? Because the intensity that we showed, or the lack of intensity, that's why I described it as a bit of a friendly almost. That's the feel that I got. I didn't feel fire. This is a quarter final.
Rez, I said to Sim before when we were driving up here, yeah, I said, the only thing I want to see is passion and desire to play for the badge, right? Because it's the biggest game of the season. There's nothing else to play for. It's the only saving grace of our season. And what did we see? A game where we should have really won. We didn't really play that great. We played better than what we've been playing for a while, which is still not at standards we should be playing at. And the fact is, based on the chances in the game, let's say, we should have won the game, and yet again we didn't.
And that for me is why I think looking at an individual instance is not very instructive. No. It's better to look at the generalities. And generally speaking, since the 11th game of the Premier League season last season, Spurs have been almost running at like 50%. You know, there's been 1 or 2 times where you look at it, yeah, that's better. That's what I want to see. That's the kind of intensity I want to see. Or that's the kind of technical skill that I want to see. Or that's, you know, playing the game well and outwitting the opponent. But in the same vein that Alex Ferguson, for instance, says, you know, strikers win games, defenses win leagues, or defenses win titles. What he was really saying is that you need consistency. And we are hopelessly inconsistent. We are hopelessly inconsistent in as much as we go out there, we have little bits here and there. There are good bits, there are bad bits, but the general thrust is one of just phoning it in, dialing it in as if it doesn't matter that much. And for me, that's a cultural problem. And I don't think the Postecoglou is the right manager to be able to mitigate that. He is not the right man for this job. You look at his ratio. You take those first 10 games out of the equation, and it's the worst record of any modern Spurs manager. He is very fortunate. Weirdly, I was also commenting on this recently. In as much as when things go badly for Spurs, he almost gets a bit of a get out because everyone around us also does stuff that mitigates the harm. It's almost the reverse of that horrid Spursy tag, whereby we do things, you know, when we could benefit from something, we fail to capitalize. It's almost like when we fail to do something now, everyone else fails to capitalize. So like when we lose a league game and we think, right, well, Everton or West Ham or Man United could go above us, although they are now, they could go above us. They fail to win because they're up against a really strong opponent. It's almost like he's charmed into just plodding along and never quite getting into that really dangerous area. But for me, 14th in the league, losing 16 games in a season is unacceptable.
16 games, right? This is a fact for anyone who's listening. 16 defeats in the league is the worst in over 48 years.
Yeah.
That is absolutely disgraceful by a standard of Spurs, who are where we are, with the stadium we have, with the facilities we have, with the money we have, right? With Beyonce up front. That is absolutely diabolical. We should never be in this situation.
And these are the things. And so again, I don't want to sit here and be, to use the phrase, negative.
Yeah, exactly.
About the game today. The game today, we played better than we have recently. We didn't get the result we should have got. We deserved to win that game in terms of our performance, but we didn't. Beyond that, I don't know what else to say.
All right, Rez.
Great
Appreciate you
call,
calling
Rez.
in, mate. Great
Really
call as
good call,
always.
man.
Nice to see
Lovely
you.
to see
Please
you
stay
as
with
well,
us
Rez.
again. And,
Take care, guys.
We'll see you soon.
I'll speak to you later, Rez.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Rez. I mean, it's hard to disagree about the overall direction of the club. I just think, tonight, I think, look, he did say tonight we played well and we should have won, which I think I agree with. In terms of the overall direction of the club and everything else, it's a different conversation. And I share his frustrations with that. But I did think it was a lot better tonight, 100%. Let's get Will on. Will, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Good, nice to call in, mate. Thanks for giving your time. We can hear you.
Loud
We can
and
hear
clear.
you. All good. Tell me what you want to discuss today.
Just my general feeling about the last few months.
Go for it, mate.
I moved to America in December, and the one thing I've been looking forward to all week is football, right? So I'm watching the games. I can't work at the moment because I'm waiting for my green card still. So it's the only thing I've got to look forward to. Yeah. So I'm watching the games, and I see two players that stand out for me that are actually trying.
Bergval's one of them?
Yes.
Yep.
Bergval and Spence.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Son, I love what he did for the club previous years. You can't take that away from him. You can't. But ever since that Conte season where he was playing with an injury, he's not been the same player. And I think it was because he played through with the injury, probably because Conte made him play.
And do you know what, Will, as well? There's a lot of things that fans don't know what goes on behind the scenes at the club, right? There's a lot of things that people don't know about Son's situation as well, which I'm not going to say. But it does feel like he's kind of checked out a little bit, I think. Yeah. From what I see anyway. I don't know if you agree with that or not. You don't have to agree with it.
I know there's a few things that have come out about his personal life and stuff that probably affect him personally, which might have eventually led onto the pitch. So, yeah.
But in terms of just tonight, though, how did you feel about what you saw tonight?
Tonight, I honestly was the first time I actually sat up while I was watching the game for a couple of months. Just because of the missed chances that one of them should have gone in. It's just our luck. One of them should have gone in. And it's just Spurs at the end of the day.
Did you have hope for the second leg, though?
Do I have hope? I didn't have hope for the Champions League run we had a few years ago. And look how that ended up, with us getting to the final and handing Liverpool the trophy.
What do you think it was tonight, Will? What do you think it came down to why we didn't get over the line?
It's a lack of quality up front. Like, Solanke, for all of his hard work, for all of his running and trying to distract the defense to let other players in, for all of that, he can't finish. He doesn't get in front. He doesn't have that aggressiveness to get in front of a defender to get to a ball first.
Do you know, Will, the stat is on Solanke, in all the years he's been in the Premier League, he's only ever scored double figures in one season, and that was last season.
Yeah. And then, of course, Spurs go in for him and pay a premium because he got double figures once.
Yep. It is funny.
Did anyone?
I agree with you.
Did anyone stand out for you tonight positively?
Again, just Bergvall again.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, he was cutting up. He was intercepting. He was making the midfielders look stupid at times.
How about a doggy?
All right, I think it was a pretty average performance.
Average performance
in terms of left backs. That is, like fullbacks, average. It might have been better than we're used to, which is why we think it's great, but average, in my opinion.
Well, Bentancur, a lot of people saying Bentancur deserved man of the match today. What did you feel?
I don't get how he kept getting his head on balls. He's not that tall. How is he the one who gets the header? No, I think Bentancur is class. No matter how there is a class player in there somewhere. And there are things that he does that are just brilliant, and then he just frustrates me.
What do you think it comes down to? Do you think it comes down to the manager's tactics? Because I was saying to Sim earlier in the show that under Conte, before he left, he was by far our best player at one point. Like for half a season, he was like our best player. And then he had that massive injury. And then he's kind of, since then, he'd had a couple of years of a lot of injuries. He's been in and out of the team, hardly played a lot. And he's only this season, he's really kind of started to come back. Do you think it is the manager's tactics, or do you think it's something else?
I think Conte's tactics relied on holding midfield a lot more than Ange's tactics do. So what I see with Ange's tactics is he tries to probe down the left, and then that doesn't work. So they pass it all the way across back to defense, come down the right, that doesn't work. Pass it all the way across back down the left, that doesn't work. Like, and then they end up snatching the ball off us and scoring on a counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think then because of that it's the heavy reliance on Bentancur doing a slightly different role than what he was doing with Conte, which is why we're not seeing the best out of him?
I think we're not seeing what he's good at.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I've been very frustrated with is our fullbacks, or even our wingers at times, we don't mark opposition's wings at all. We don't close them down when they have the ball. We don't mark them when they're off the ball. No one is. Every time someone gets the ball, they go up the wing, and then you see our fullbacks running to the corner of our box instead of tracking the player with the ball. And that gives them so much time. You saw it with the Sancho goal, you saw it with the goal today. Their winger runs down, cuts in, shoots, scores.
All right. Will, we're going to have to move on. Appreciate you, though, for calling in.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Nice one. That was Will giving his opinion. Is he the last one?
Yes.
All right. He is the last caller. All right. That's it for tonight then. Danny, thank you for giving your time and going through all the drama that was a lot of tonight, all the missed chances. Look, fun. Still got hope for the second leg. It's all to play for. It's only 1-1. We played well tonight. It's massively frustrating, but we've got a second leg next week. So not all doom and gloom just yet. But next week's a massive, massive challenge. Thank you, everyone, for being with us with the stream tonight. We're going to be back tomorrow. Ben's going to be in the studio. We're going to break down all the reaction, all the fallout from tonight, and also preview the game on Sunday against Wolves. We'll hear again from Ange ahead of the Wolves game tomorrow. So we'll see you all tomorrow for the live stream. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.